375,000-ton harvest is an 80,000-ton jump from the previous year and 20,000 tons more than the national requirement. Its impact is being felt across the entire value chain.
It means that the issue of imports has been reduced, and so as bakers, we are happy that we are able to access flour locally. It means we've got more traders interested in selling bread because there is actually more bread. But from the baker's side, it also means a lot of our small bakeries are also able to bake bread.
Increased local wheat supplies have combined with other factors, including reduced lending rates and improved foreign currency allocation, to minimize bread price hikes.
We've also had quite significant support from the central bank, and that helps us to actually stabilize our pricing in terms of bread, because we can access foreign currency, we can access fuel a whole lot better than what we were doing in previous years.
Farmers say the bumper wheat harvest was down to three things. Number one, stable electricity supplies. Two, expanded irrigation capacity. And three, access to finance. In a bid to mitigate the supply shocks caused by the conflict in the Balkans, the primary source of wheat imports, the government allowed private players to finance more than a third of the 2022 crop. However, some farmers have bemoaned payment delays, an issue that requires redress in order to sustain production growth.
The reality on the ground is some farmers have not been paid. We needed also to look at farmers receiving payment for their effort, rather receiving value for their effort, and that value being reflected in the producer price, but not only the producer price, but also in them being paid in full and on time.
The government is building new dams to expand irrigation capacity and plans to increase mechanization in order to ramp up wheat production further.
Okay, you see that video right there? You see the brilliance of infrastructure? Because the main purpose for the jump in wheat, which is over 80,000 ton plus, that's a lot, that's a very high amount in excess. So it drops the price on flour and bread. Anything that has to do with flour and wheat, prices drop. So that's good for the economy. And that's also good for the revenues for the government and the revenues for the farmers. So, but the main reason for this boom comes back to the Chinese, because the Chinese was responsible for building more grids in Zimbabwe recently, let's say a couple of years ago. But for the past year or so, they have more electricity grids that was built. They have more dams that was built by the Chinese. When we say by the Chinese, they get the loan, and these things was built by the Chinese for the country. So because of a steady flow of electricity, they can now reap their the wheat, store it properly, keep it proper temperature so it doesn't get spoiled or damaged, and because of steady electricity. So that's one part. Part two, the dams they build and irrigation systems to have these things fully get the correct amount of water year round. So if they have a drought, they still have a dams to help with irrigation to farm the wheat. So with all that said, that drop the price. They don't need to import nothing. So that's one. It lessens the import. So you don't need foreign currency to import this stuff. So all around, it impacts the country economy as a whole. So and this is just one part. Even though Biden recently signed extend the sanction on Zimbabwe for another year, we don't know. He didn't give a reason. He just did it. Obama did the same thing. Bush, Biden, Trump, and Obama, they all just keep extending the sanction on Zimbabwe. Why? Because again, if you can keep Zimbabwe economy messed up and the money keep rising, the people will turn against the president, and then hence cause turmoil and distrust, and then the Western countries gonna gain. So that's why they keep sanctioning these countries. But in this case now, it's not, the sanctions are being less, the sanctions don't have as much weight as they used to have because they are moving away from the US dollar. So now they can trade, and they're also trading with other African countries. So if Zimbabwe trade their wheat, stop now, let's back it up. If Zimbabwe now don't have to import wheat from no one, especially the States, they don't have to spend money on buying currency, so the money won't devalue. The bank is also helping the farmers with this, so that's good. And then locally, people can have more spending power. So this one sector of agriculture already boosting the economy and boosting the currency. And as I tell you, Zimbabwe have signed bilateral trade deals with Ghana, South Africa, and these countries. So if they buy from each other, they don't need the US dollars. So the economy of all these countries is gonna automatically stabilize, and bread is used widely by a lot of people. So when flour is cheap, it drives down the cost of anything that made from flour, from biscuits to bread to pastries, and this is what run most low income family is flour products. So it's a win all over. And as the guy said in the video that this keep going as long as they, and my only hope is they pay the farmers what they deserve, so they can in turn continue this growth, and now they can in turn export wheat to other countries, so the farmers still gain more revenue from this, and the government also gain more revenue. And a few African countries are now currently starting to ban the import of agriculture product to the continent, so they're going to cut the cost of the need again for foreign currency for the US dollar, and less money on shipment, less money on oil to ship those things to the continent, and then drive them from the coast inland. They save a lot of money there, and they spend less money on electricity and oil because they have their own stable current system, so they no longer have to be spending extra money. So all around, this is a good look for the continent, and I'm pretty sure they're going to export the excess to other countries nearby to lessen their dependence on the West. And that's what's going on right now on the continent. A lot of these countries are now trading with each other, and it's causing the West to go crazy and keep sanctioning these countries. But the sanctions is no longer working because of the BRICS. The BRICS is what also helping Africa now to elevate, to become a giant in the world now. Because once the economies of these countries rise, people start to make more money. Africa start to have more wealth, more growth. Then now more and more countries are gonna stop taking aid from the West. They're gonna stop using the US dollar, and their currency are gonna elevate now to have a stronger standing in the world, and they can use said currency now to trade with the BRICS to buy things from oil from Russia, not from Russia. Let's say oil from Saudi Arabia or oil from Russia, because Saudi Arabia now taking the rupees from India and from Russia for the petrodollar instead of just solely the US dollar. So now these countries can just, instead of buying the US, they can buy the rupee and then use that now to trade. And also they are accepting gold for oil. And that's what some of these countries are now trading the gold for oil. So again, they don't need the US dollar anymore. So the sanctions don't have that bite it used to have, because Russia exposed that sanctions cannot have the effect they want if you are smart, and this is what is going on worldwide now. Everybody's ditching the dollar, so the sanctions don't have that much bite. Who needs, you understand? So anyway, thanks for watching. I don't know, it's a Washington SXN podcast. Tell a friend, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget that part. It helps the channel to grow. I can bring you more news, and also help me in the future to go to the continent. My first trip to Africa hopefully should be Ghana. I want to go to Ghana, so I'm working on that right now, so we can show the beauty of the country and the infrastructure and all that good stuff, and get some interviews locally in the continent. So I don't know. Thanks for watching. I don't know. Peace. One love. Boom.